NFL Week 2, and I'm here with Ron, the Don, Romanelli. Man, what a week one, Good to have the NFL back. Rolling right along into week 2. How we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I definitely treaded lightly week one. Just had one best bet. That was the Colts. So I was glad to cash that ticket. And I'm ready to roll here on Sunday. I think it's a solid card.
Let's do it, my man. Let's do it. Where are we headed to this week?
We're going to go to New Orleans. We've got the 49ers and the Saints. And this is, something I've talked about the last few years. Obviously, week 1 to week 2, you're going to see some market overreaction to what we saw in week 1. But you're also going to see this throughout the season when we see some big time injuries. And this is a classic example where we see the Niners open up as a 7-point favorite. I believe they trickled down at 6.5 before the big news that Brock Purdy is going to be out for 2 to 5 weeks. And once he was ruled out, this line is now dropped to, San Francisco -3. So it's fair to say, 3.5 point line move because of the Brock Purdy injury news. And listen, I'm not the biggest Mac Jones fan, that's for sure. But Brock Purdy is one of the big reasons why the Niners missed the playoffs last year. I mean, is he worth 3.5 points? I don't think so. I mean, this is still a Saints team that could be the worst team in the league this season, in terms of their win-loss record, or in terms of their win total going into the year. It was one of the lowest in the league. And coming off the loss to the Cardinals, I think it was a more competitive game than a lot of people expected. They outgained Arizona in that one, had a chance to tie it if it wasn't for a drop pass in the end zone in the final seconds. But I still think you're getting a Niners team. It's got a much better defense here. Christian McCaffrey still in the backfield. Mac Jones doesn't necessarily have to do a lot in this game for the Niners to walk away with the win. And now a reasonable cover as we're only having to lay a field goal. And obviously a big upgrade for San Francisco at kicker this week as Moody was placed on waivers. And, I think we saw the Niners miss a couple of field goals last week. Could have been an even more impressive victory in week 1 over Seattle, which is a really tough place to play. So for me, I think we've talked about this over the years. Backup quarterbacks, I like them because we can get better prices with these teams. And that's what we see in this one. We got a much better team in San Francisco that now we can lay a reasonable price with. I'll lay the points with the Niners.
Ron the Don taking the San Francisco 49ers, laying the points. This is, I think, one of the tougher games of the weekend. I'm probably going to leave it alone personally. I can't, in good faith, put my money behind Mac Jones. Everybody knows my thoughts about him. And then you add into the equation no George Kittle, no Jawan Jennings likely. So it's just Pearsall basically and McCaffrey.
That's all I need. and a good San Francisco defense when you got Spencer Rattler on the other side. Well, our defense might be our best offense here for San Francisco. So, yeah, I mean, what's the drop off between Jones and Purdy in your opinion? Is it 3.5 points? I know Kittle and Jennings injuries also take an account for that, so I shouldn't just say the one injury was the reason why this line dropped that much. But I still think those skill position injuries, we see overreactions from the markets, and 3.5 points are way too much in my opinion.
I understand it, and I do agree with you. The Niners are the better football team. I think as banged up as they are laying this many points in the Superdome, we saw the Saints start the season off really good last year. Like, weird things happen early season in the NFL. Saints are a bad football team. If this line gets to 2.5 under a field goal, I'll like the Niners, but laying the full 3 with Mac Jones just makes my stomach hurt. So that's all I'm saying. Man, this is not my favorite game of the weekend. I know it's not yours either. I know where to find yours over at Pick Dawgz Premium. What you got over there this weekend, my man?
Yeah, you can always find my best bets in the NFL and all the other sports at Pick Dawgz Premium. A great idea is to grab a long-term plan to get you every single play in every sport that I release. We're going to have a busy month the rest of the September. It's college football, NFL action, Major League Baseball regular season ending, getting ready for the WNBA playoffs as well. Can't forget that. So check it out at Pick Dawgz Premium.
Check it out. Ron the Don Romanelli is what I like to call him. Last week you came on here and you gave out the under for the Chiefs, before the game. It was you got a lot of hate for it, and a lot of people were like, this man's crazy, hell no. And I'm be honest, I'm kind of still in that camp. But 0-1, then they got the defending Super Bowl champs who dominated them in the Super Bowl just not that long ago this week. it's not crazy to say they start 0-2. And
Hmm.
that would put you right in the driver's seat for what you were describing last week.
And then they got the New York Football Giants on Sunday Night Football the week after. That's also a terrible spot for KC. Looking like an 0-17 season for Mahomes and company as they miss the postseason. You could act fast and still get plus money on them to miss the playoffs. I think this is not necessarily the best spot for the Eagles. Obviously, Super Bowl revenge at Arrowhead, but man, I think the Eagles are the much better team there. So we'll see. I think the Chiefs are in trouble.
There you go. From Ron to Don. I had to ask him again. I'll probably ask him every week just to see if I can get him to flip. Or if he'll be right. This will be a season.
I'm stubborn. Even if KC goes 15-2 the rest of the year, 15-1, I'll say they'll lose in the playoffs.
Fair enough, man. Appreciate you, Ron. We'll see you throughout the week here on the YouTube channel, on the College Football Show, the NFL Show, and of course the rundown with MLB playoffs right on the horizon.
Yep, sounds good, JC. Then.
Yes, sir. And we keep it rolling here on the NFL Show, and I have Ashley here with me. Ashley, how you doing this week?
What's going on, Jay? We had a fun week 1, some crazy game outcomes, but now it's week 2 where we have to do our best to not overreact to what we saw, whether teams looked good, looked poor. We have to keep our heads on straight a little bit heading into this week.
Yes, we do. Got to keep your head on a swivel. And like you said, it was fun having the NFL back last week. Some games that came right down to the wire. One that hurt my feelings was Younghoe Koo in Atlanta.
Man, Koo was for a couple of years there, he was, rock solid. And then, something happened last year, and man, kickers have it rough. It's such a mental game.
Yep.
It's like they get the yips, and then it's just all downhill from there. And I feel like he's one of those victims, unfortunately.
He is one of those victims, unfortunately. And speaking of getting the yips, we're heading to a team that had a kicker that had the yips.
Yeah.
And they just cut his ass.
Yeah.
We got the Niners and the Saints. Jake Moody no longer.
No longer. RIP. I saw they picked up Eddie Pinheiro today. So we'll see if Eddie P can revive their kicking game. But yeah, Jake Moody is right in that same category as Koo, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll hop into it. So yeah, we saw Niners pull out that big win on the road over Seattle, and then the Saints lost by a touchdown at home to Arizona. Big storyline here, aside from cut kickers, are the injuries to San Francisco. Deja vu to last year. A large amount of my family are Niners fans, and it is doom and gloom already here heading into week 2. So a lot of depressed people around, but most notably, Brock Purdy's not going to play. Kittle's going to be out. So we are going to see Mac Jones getting the start here. Like, I understand Mac's not an ideal starter here. He never really lived up to his hype or expectations, but I feel pretty good with him in the sense that he's not some backup coming off the bench who hasn't seen the field in years, right? He got 7-8 starts at the end of last season. So he's fresh. He's seen, he's gotten the recent reps, and he's still relatively young. He's going to have weapons in front of him, even with the injuries. He's still going to have McCaffrey. He's going to have Ricky Pearsall. He'll definitely lean on McCaffrey in this one. That's probably going to be inevitable, but McCaffrey looked good last week. I mean, I know the Niners are riddled with injuries right now, but supposedly Caffrey's calf is fine, and he was back to his normal self of being a workhorse last week. And I think the Saints defense could have some issues with that. The Saints defense did hold Arizona back, at least through the air, but the Cardinals were able to get 150 yards on the ground. So I do expect McCaffrey to have a great game. And I know Kittle being out is going to hurt too, but his backup, Tungus, I think is how it's pronounced, Tungus, he was filling that gap no problem. And then Pearsall had an explosive week 1. So Mac's going to have weapons to work with. And then really what's selling me on this game for San Francisco is their defense. Their defense looked good. And I was a huge proponent of them bringing back Robert Saleh to be the D coordinator. The organization loves him. I think he's going to right this ship. I mean, their defense looked pretty good against Seattle last week. They held them to 230 total offensive yards. Granted, was that just Seattle playing poorly and Sam Darnold playing poorly, or was that thanks to San Francisco's defense? Probably a little bit of both. But I just don't think that Spencer Rattler and the Saints offense is going to be able to get it done here. And as we mentioned, we don't have Jake Moody to blow any leads here. So I'm going to lay the points here. I know it's always a little nerve-wracking laying points with a team who's hurt, especially with the quarterback out, but I'll lay the 3.
Ashley laying the 3 here with the Niners on the road. Everybody knows I'm a big Mac Jones hater. I will for sure be playing a Mac Jones INT. It has to be played. The thing is he may not be the worst starting quarterback in this game, which is crazy to say, and he's the backup.
Exactly. That was my thought.
Spencer Rattler, as the starting quarterback of the Saints, is 0-7 straight up. He didn't win a game last year, didn't win last week, and he's only covered one game in that stretch as well, 1-6 ATS. So it's not like Rattler's been a bet on quarterback. Either Superdome's a tough place to play, but I think you hit a lot of the key points. The Niners defense will be the best unit on the field, and it wouldn't surprise me if Rattler threw a pick six some damn self, and the Niners kind of take advantage of the game that way. So we'll see.
Yes,
and
sir.
More Jake Moody.
More Jake Moody, more importantly.
Oh, man. Fair enough. Where are we headed to next?
We're heading on over to Arrowhead for a Super Bowl rematch. We had a lot of great games week 1, but I think this is probably one that everyone's on the edge of their seat for. I do want to say, it was either the NFL show last week or maybe it was on one of the morning shows, but Ron's play was the Chiefs under on the season. I could not agree with him more. I don't think I was super vocal about it last year, at least publicly. I was a big Chiefs hater last year. I didn't think they were bad, but I thought that they were very overrated. And I rode hard with the Phillies, with Philly in the Super Bowl. And I think Ron hit the nail on the head this season. I just think, I don't know. We saw Kansas City and Brazil against the Chargers on Friday, and I think LA definitely looks like the better team in that one. And I think everyone just wants this Chiefs team to be the same dynasty team that they've been the last few years, but they're riddled with injuries too. We were just talking about the Niners with injuries, but Rice and Worthy being out is brutal for this offense. I'm not really sure how successful their run game is going to be. We hardly saw Pacheco get any work in week 1. It was really the Kareem Hunt show. I don't know how long that'll be able to last for. And really, we just didn't see like the same offensive magic that we usually do, except for that long play that Mahomes squeaked out there at the end before they kicked their last field goal. But they were only 1 for 3 with their red zone efficiency, 0 for 2 in goal to go efficiency. I mean, those are numbers I feel like that we would have never seen in the past before. And the Chargers defense is solid, but I think Philly has the much better pass rush and a better defensive line, especially if Jalen Carter doesn't spit on anyone here. So I think they're going to get to Mahomes just like they did in the Super Bowl. And as for the Eagles offense, Jalen looked good, especially with his legs. He was really moving. We didn't see anything too crazy out of Saquon, but he's looming and he's going to have a massive game here one of these weeks. I just think the Chiefs are on their downfall while the Eagles are on the up and up. And I don't really care that it's at Arrowhead. The Eagles were 6-2 against the spread on the road last season, and the Chiefs were only 4-6 ATS at Arrowhead. So I'm going to roll with the champs here and take Philly on the money line. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. I will not be a part of that Chiefs demise train that y'all are trying to start.
I'm riding with Ron on this one, big time.
I will not be a part of that.
12 wins is crazy.
It is, but Chiefs are talking about, man. This is Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes.
I know. My hate is not on Mahomes. It's not Mahomes hate. It's just Chiefs overall. Their defense is solid. I just don't think Mahomes has the weapons around him anymore that he needs. When Rashee Rice comes back, maybe it's a different story, but
that's fair. For me in this one, Ashley, I'm going to have to go the other way. I got to take the Chiefs.
That's fine. A lot of people are.
Hey, I have a pretty simple formula. Patrick Mahomes in a bounce back spot as an underdog at home, they could be playing the NFC All-Star. I'm sorry. Taking mama that man. So
I'm going to say you're living in the past, but we'll see come Sunday.
it wouldn't be the first time I've heard that, man, but I still believe.
And hey, maybe I said at the beginning of this game, no overreactions. Maybe I'm overreacting to Chiefs' performance week 1, but I don't think so.
Shout out to the Birds. They are the defending Super Bowl champs. And I thought, as well as my Cowboys played last week, they lost. And I thought the Eagles played a really efficient game, not even their best game, and still came out of there.
That's a good point. Yeah, I was going to touch on that, and I forgot to. That Eagles won. They looked solid. I don't think they played their best game, like even remotely. Like I said, Hurts was great on the ground. He didn't throw too much. Didn't really need to. Defensively too, there were a few drives that I thought they looked a little soft. So they were able to pull it out in a mediocre game. If they can, they had an extra day of rest here. We'll see.
We shall see. We shall see. I'm excited for this weekend of football coming up, man. So I think it's a really cool card, really between both college football and the NFL. We got the WNBA playoffs starting this weekend. Not college, but Major League Baseball winding on down. It's a good time of year. It's the best time of year, really, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. September is great. I'm a little more partial to October because I'm a big hockey guy, too. So October is where it's at for me. But yeah, I mean, fall is obviously the best time of year for a variety of reasons. Sure. We're getting into it.
For sure. I would probably lean October a little bit too, especially with the NBA coming back. And y'all know I love my NBA. So but a good weekend coming up this weekend. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Yeah, so you can grab my best bet of the day for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It'll either be a college football play or NFL play. If you prefer longer-term packages, snag a week package, a month, or a year. If you grab the month, that'll pull you into early MLB playoffs as well. So definitely check that out. If you're riding all in on football, grab my dual season package. You can get every single pick from college football and NFL all the way through playoffs and Super Bowl. And then, of course, do not forget, use the code PICK for 15% off and get the most bang for your buck.
Ashley, appreciate you joining us this week. See you on the College Football Show.
Yes, sir.
And continue to kick the crap out of the books.
Thanks, Jay. Have a good one.
We keep it rolling here on the NFL Show. I got Big Al McMorty here with me. Al, glad to have you back on the NFL Show this week. Missed you last week.
Yeah, glad to be here. Although, I mean, I actually passed, in the NFL the entire week 1. So I don't know how much I really could have contributed last week since I didn't, like anything. But I'm not passing this week. This week I'll have 5 or 6 NFL plays. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Good to be back. People missed you. That was probably the number 1 comment last week. Where is Al? We need Al here on the NFL Show. He's coming. He'll be here next week, y'all. I promise he'll be here. So we got the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, and what I like to call him. What are we doing first, Al? Where we headed to?
Well, speaking of myths, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks traveling to the Steel City to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Seattle's a 3-point underdog, and one of the biggest myths in sports gambling is that West Coast NFL teams don't travel well and that they play poorly on the East Coast. But the funny thing, Jay, and we've talked about this over the last few years on our NFL shows with you and I and Mitch, the opposite is actually true. If you go back to 1980 and you look at how teams from the Pacific time zone do when they're on the road at an Eastern time zone team, our Pacific time zone teams have gone 383, 321, and 18 against the spread, 54.4%. And we saw this last week. The Las Vegas Raiders went into New England and beat the Patriots as an underdog. So that's not really the reason why I like Seattle plus the points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just kind of pointing that out. But yeah, I'm going to take Seattle plus the points over Pittsburgh.
Man, it's a tough one. This is a game I probably were going to stay away from. I was impressed with them Steelers last week. They could have rolled over and died, man. But old man Rodgers kind of turned back the clock a little bit. Defense made huge plays when it mattered most. Seattle, they didn't impress me. They lost at home to a banged up Seattle team. I don't know. I'm not rushing to lay 3 with Pittsburgh, but I'm not that high on the Seattle Seahawks team with Sam Darnold. I'll just be honest.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
So we'll see how this one plays out this week. Fair enough. Where we headed to next, my man?
Well, let's go to New York. We've got a battle between the Jets, and the Bills. And, you just mentioned, the Pittsburgh Steelers winning a tough game against New York, 34-32. New York still covered the spread, though. New York was a 3-point dog. They covered the spread by a point. And this is a nice setup, I think, for New York. Buffalo won as an emotional game as you can win when they came all the way back from 15 down to defeat the Ravens 41-40. That, of course, was a rematch from a playoff game, also won by Buffalo the previous January. So huge emotional win at home for the Buffalo Bills. And as you know, in sports gambling, there's only one place to go, and that's down from a win like that. And apart from the fact that they had that huge emotional win, if you take a look at the NFL in week number 2, if you get a road favorite that won in week 1, if they were also a winning team the 2 previous seasons, those teams don't do very well as a road favorite in week 2. They've cashed just 33.7% going back to 1980. So that doesn't bode well for the Buffalo Bills. And then the Jets playing at home off a home loss. That's also been a good setup for the Jets over the years. They're 32-19-1 ATS at home off a straight up home loss. So I like the Jets plus the 6.5 against Buffalo.
Jets took an L last week, man, but that was probably as impressive as an L as you can take, especially for the Jets. So I don't know. I kind of like what I saw from Justin Fields, and I'm wondering if they're able to keep some of that small momentum rolling forward here. And then, like you said, Buffalo coming off the most improbable win I've seen in the last, I don't know. They had no
3 or
business
4 years.
Yeah, they had no business winning that game that night, but they did. And like you said, there's only one place to go from there. It's not up; it's only down. So, just a lot of points to lay. Division game on the road, following a game like that, short week. I'm leaning towards the Jets, Jets in this one as well. Al, man, glad to have you here on the show this week, man. We got a lot of action coming up this weekend between NFL, college football, which has a way better card than it did last week. WNBA playoffs start this weekend, and MLB winding on down. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend last week in college football for me. As I mentioned, I passed in the NFL. Off to a really good start in football. It's been a really good 5 years here at Pick Dawgz, and over the last year, the record 873 plus 121.96 net games. So if you're betting 1,000 a game, you're up $121,960. So we'll just keep it going. This weekend, I'll have 13 college football plays, maybe as many as 15. In the NFL, I'll have 5 or 6 plays. So we're looking at roughly 20 NFL and college football plays combined. So it's a great weekend to join.
Hop on with Al McMorty, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to kick the crap out of the books. His numbers over the last 12 months, really 12 years, speak for themselves, man. So hop on with the GOAT. Continue to kick the crap out of the books. Al, we appreciate you coming on the show this week. We'll see you on the college football show throughout the week on Al's Access and on usually tune in on the weekend shows as well. So appreciate you, my man.
Thanks, Jay. Good luck as always.
Thank you, sir. We keep it rolling here on the NFL show. I got Brad Wins Bets with me here. Brad, what's happening, my man? How you doing?
Doing well, man. I mean, week 1 was wild, to say the least. I mean, I had the Bears, I had the Ravens, I had some good wins as well. But man, ready to get another crack at the NFL. Ready for week 2 to start and put some of those bad beats behind me. Let me tell you what,
man. I was with you on that Bears. First half, J.J. McCarthy looked like the quarterback that I thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
Missed to run the football at Michigan. Never really seen him make that big of a throw in his career. And then, I was yelling at the TV, ha, ha, ha. And then second half, he turned into Tom Brady.
Yeah, ridiculous. I feel like that Vikings team might just be the same as last year's. They're going to win a bunch of regular season games, and then they're going to play the Rams or something in the first round and get cooked.
Shout out to the Vikings.
Week one, though. Who knows?
It's week one. Shout out to
Okay.
JJ McCarthy, though. He went and got NFC Player of the Week, Offensive Player of the Week. So,
damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's how good he played in that second half. That's how well he played. So all you can do is take your hats off to him. And like you said, we saddle back up and get ready for week 2 NFL action. I don't think the card's as good this week as it was last week. We had some bigger matchups last week, but there's still money to be made, still some good games. Where are we headed to, my man?
Yeah, we are headed to Tennessee. We got the Rams and the Titans, and I'm actually going to target a total here. I like the under in this one. Both these teams, we saw their week 1 matchups go under. I think this is going to be a really tough matchup for Cam Ward. And I actually thought Cam Ward looked pretty good, decent against that Broncos defense. But, man, this Rams defensive line is no joke. Shout out my Florida State boys, Jared Verse and Fisk. They're going to give Cam Ward troubles all day. And I think that's how the Rams are going to win games this season. I think the Rams are known for that Sean McVay offense, letting it fly. But the Rams are going to win games this season from their defense. CJ Stroud gets Nico Collins back last week, and that offense only put up 9 points. I'm like I said, I don't think Cam Ward in this Tennessee offense is going to have much success. And one thing I was kind of impressed with Tennessee watching that Broncos game is their defense actually didn't play that bad. Yes, the Broncos scored 20 points, but I thought their defense was actually decent. Matt Stafford dealing with these back injuries, getting a little bit long in the tooth, kind of seems like they're playing more of a conservative type of offense. Overall, I just don't see how this thing gets over 40 points, especially when I think the Titans just aren't going to have much success at all on the offensive side of the ball. So I think this one's going to be a bit uglier. Give me the under in this one.
Brad attacking a total under 41.5. I agree with you. I watched a lot of that Tennessee Broncos game last week, and one of the biggest takeaways that I didn't hear enough, and you won't hear a lot about Tennessee this year because they're going to be a bad football team, one of the worst in the league, but you can make money betting those teams. And I was impressed with how they turned the ball over from Denver last week. Bo Nix had a couple of bad plays where it's like,
yeah.
I'm telling y'all right now, if the receivers for Tennessee would have caught the ball last week, Tennessee could have beat Denver outright in Denver. It could have happened.
It could have.
The receivers kind of sold Cam Ward. I don't know if y'all saw the meme of Cam Ward's dad during the game.
He got out of his chair. had to lean over the railing, just like, damn.
That was me too, because Cam actually played well.
Yeah.
He's going to go through his growing pains, of course, as a rookie. And it's never fun, especially early in season. And he doesn't have the best receiving core. They sold him last week, and it wouldn't shock me if they sold him again this week. And so I'm not expecting the world from the Tennessee offense, but I really did like what I saw from them defensively. And like you said, Stafford still – I didn't think the Rams offense looked all that great last week. They did come out of there with a win. They scraped by, but it wouldn't shock me if that's what they did in this one as well, scrape by. So I like the under here. And Brad, honestly, I think I like the Titans plus the 5.5 right here on Thursday. I still got to deep dive this game a little more, but as a lean right here, right now, just talking,
I'm not mad at it.
Tennessee.
I'm not mad at Stafford. We all know Stafford loves to play in those domes too. Once that man gets outside, it's not the same. And then I do think the Titans got one with Cam. Like, it is going to take some time, but Cam Ward's no Will Levis. Like, just his demeanor, his mindset, the way he plays, they got one. They got one. It's going to take some time, but he's good.
What's crazy is a lot of those plays early season last year, we saw Will Levis turn the ball over, like those step-up sidearm throws. Who Will Levis wants to be is who Cam Ward is. It's kind of crazy. Cam will step up, make those crazy sidearm throws, keep plays alive. We'll see. Yeah. I like Tennessee right now, plus the 5.5, but I do like this under a lot with you in this one. Low-scoring defensive football game. Man, Brad, we got a good weekend of football coming up. College football, NFL. We're out of the dog days of summer, my man. Money making weekend ahead. What you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Yeah, right now, currently, we're hours away from this Commanders-Packers game. Pretty pumped for that. We don't have any Friday or Saturday action, so if you're looking for my NFL stuff, it'll be all on Sunday. Typically, I have 3 to 5 plays on Sunday, and then you'll have my best pick, my pick of the day for Sunday slate. Last week, we were on the Tampa Bay Bucks. That one was scary. Shout out Younghoe Koo for missing that field goal. But check out my college stuff too, man. We've been crushing in college, #1 in college football so far this season. I will have my play today on Friday. I'll have all my plays Saturday. So it's going to be a big football weekend. Pick Dawgz Premium. You'll see all my stuff there.
Hop on with Brad Wins Bets and do exactly that, ladies and gentlemen. Cash you a couple tickets. Brad, got to check out the breakdown.
Yeah.
Brad's breakdown. He covers every NFL game of the week on that, man. So check out my guy, man, as he deep dives the NFL action. Of course, he does a lot of video content for us here on the channel. You'll see him cover a lot of college football, baseball, and NFL action right here every single day. So
we grinding.
Appreciate the work you putting in, Brad. Let's continue to kick the crap out of the books. Let's make some money this weekend. Let's do the damn thing.
Let's get it.
Appreciate you. I'm here with my guy, Brian Bittler. Week 2, NFL action. How you doing this week, my man?
Can't complain. 6-2 to start the season. 75% of hoping that I can keep that run going with lots of opportunities there on the Sunday card. But there's also some minds there, as we saw the public got crushed in week 1. I'm hoping that repeats in week 2, but you never know.
You never know. The public did get rinsed last week. Do they come back hard this week is the multi-million-dollar question. We got 2 public teams in this one, so it's kind of hard to
well, that's up for debate here. We talked about that before. I don't consider the New York Giants, with all their suffering that they've done over the years, them and the New York Jets, as being a public team, but they have that New York tax on them, so maybe you're right about that.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm interested to hear your thoughts here on this one. Everybody notices my team. Did we blow out the Giants this week, or do the Giants play more competitive than they did last week?
Oh, for one of my best free picks on the board here, I'm looking at the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. I think it'd be easy, without thinking, just to take the New York Giants plus the points. But that home game against Washington, for me, was a real eye-opener. I don't think the Giants will be as competitive. I don't think they'll be competitive until they pull the plug here on Russell Wilson, and go with rookie quarterback Jackson Dart. Wilson was a pathetic 17 of 37 passing. I just don't see him as being the guy anymore. He'd be a good backup quarterback for a team that's Super Bowl bound, but as far as being a starter, I don't know about that. On the other side, we got a Cowboys team off a game against the Eagles where they look pretty damn good. I think we see this Cowboys with a running game now with Javonte Williams. If they just hand him the damn ball, establish the run, and that's going to open up Dak Prescott for a big time passing attack. And they've got the guys, the killers here, receiving wise for the Cowboys to get the job done. I don't think this point total is too much, -5.5. I think they win this game by 7 to 10 points. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys and lay the points here.
Brian, okay. He's on the board this week.
You got to pick your spots.
Fair. I thought my Cowboys looked solid last week. They made a couple huge mistakes you can't make on the road at the Super Bowl champions if you want to win the game. But I thought there was a lot of encouraging signs to take from that game. One being how well my quarterback played in that game, Dak Prescott. And I think he's going to play well again here in this game. An interesting stat for y'all. Dak Prescott has won 13 straight games over the New York Giants. That is one of the longest streaks in NFL history. Before Dak, that record, the longest streak was Tom Brady, who had won 13 straight over the Buffalo Bills. The longest active streak, I believe, or not active, but the longest streak was 17 from Bob. Let me get his name for you. I got y'all. The longest streak is Bob Greasy. He had 17 straight against Buffalo. So Dak Prescott trying to enter his name to some rare air, continuing dominating the Giants. And I'm with you, Brian. I think we know what Russell Wilson is at this point. I was higher on the Giants in the preseason. I thought they had a good preseason quarterback rotation. Winston, Wilson, Dart, but we know regular season. If you have 3, you have none. And they looked really bad offensively last week, and on the road again this week at another divisional opponent looking to take a step forward may not be the best spot for them. So I'm a homer. Everybody knows it, but I do like my team this week as well.
One of the stats that worries me a little bit, it says since 2003, week 2, 0-1 Dogs as an underdog, they're 53, 28, and 3, 65%, which would lead you to take the Giants. But I still think the Cowboys, if they can establish that running game, it's going to just I think that they're hungry to blow a team out. And I think the Giants are going to be a victim of that here on Sunday.
It would just be the norm. Regular scheduled programming and all. Fair enough, Brian, man. Week 2, NFL action. We're getting into it, knee deep in it. Got a good week of action coming up between college football, NFL, WNBA playoffs, Major League Baseball winding on down, playoffs on the horizon. What you got going on this weekend over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Well, if you count the NFL preseason, I'm 16-8 in the NFL, 67%. Starting the regular season off at 6-2. College football on the positive, so maybe pick up that all-access football pass, $8.95. Will get you every single football play I put out in the NFL and college football. Use code PICK at checkout, save an additional 15% off. And daily, I have my titanium best bet. I'll have one for Sunday, just $30 at pickdawgz.com.
Bomber Brian Bittler, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, he's one of the best in the industry for a reason. And then his numbers speak for themselves. Brian, I appreciate having you on the show, my man. Of course, I'm loving the pick this week.
Great to be here. You know, sometimes when I used to do these shows in the past, I used to try to get a pick on purpose to argue with people. But here I took the road, an easier road here. I found a good one, and I think the Cowboys will get it done.
Fair enough. Appreciate you, my man. We'll see you throughout the week and on the college football show and here on the channel.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. I got Ruff the Pig Dog, a.k.a. Chris Ruffolo, or just Ruff, whatever you want to call him. You got many nicknames. Chris, what's happening?
Yeah, I've got Ruff, Ruffalo, Dumbass. It varies from week to week, but no, I'm doing well, Jay. So back from Vegas. Week 1 NFL was fun. Hanging out there, but now I'm back home. Now we got to get back to the grind, and solid week 2 of action. I feel like I'm seeing the card pretty well, so ready to help everybody make some money this week.
Let's do it, my man. Let's do it. Where we headed to here in week 2?
Yeah, we're going back to the NFC North, and there's this matchup between the Bears and the Lions, and I watched that matchup from front to back with the Bears against the Vikings, and I'll tell you, Caleb Williams in the first half looked pretty solid. I mean, I was like, okay, well, maybe Ben Johnson has unlocked something. And I've gone on record saying that I think that Ben Johnson is going to help Caleb Williams really improve this season. The problem is the second half, it looked like more of the same of what we saw from the Bears last year. And the Bears now 3-16 against the division in the last 3+ years, including week 1. It's not a good look for this Bears team that just can't compete against the rest of the NFC North. The Lions, they did struggle in week 1. It looked like, the Lions were missing Ben Johnson, who ironically faces his former team here. But I think that was also part and parcel of playing the Packers, who I think are going to be an improved team this year at Lambeau. We know Jared Goff has had his issues in his career making the transition from indoor to outdoor. He's been a much better quarterback indoors, in domes, like he is at Ford Field here. And I think that this is a bounce back spot for the Detroit Lions, who have been really, really solid off of a loss, 19-8 against the spread off a loss, are Jared Goff and Dan Campbell as a duo. I think that, like I said, I think it's just a nice rebound spot for Detroit getting back home here. I think this Detroit defense knows what Ben Johnson's going to throw at him. And I just don't know if Caleb Williams is the guy to get it done in this matchup. So I'm going to lay the points here with the Lions and what I see as a 10-point victory for Detroit in this one.
Fair enough, man. Chris Ruffalo laying the points with the Detroit Lions. Let me play a little devil's advocate quickly. I saw a stat that says Jared Goff is like, 0-16-1 only. Was it that bad? It was something like that without Sean McVay and Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator. They said he's been awful without him. outside of that, I agree with everything you said. I like the Lions this week too, man. The Bears are still the Bears. I can't believe I put my money on them last week. Ben Johnson can't save Caleb Williams. I thought Caleb Williams had 2 good drives last week, only 2. The opening drive, which is scripted. Ben Johnson and company had the entire offseason to script that one drive. And then the other drive where he performed well was the one late in the game, kind of like 2-minute drill-ish. And let me tell y'all something else. Guess what? That is scripted as well. When mid-game, outside of those 2 drives, when the Bears needed him to do something, he looked like rookie Caleb Williams, which was not great. Yes, he doesn't turn the football over, but he doesn't really move the chains. And I worry about this Bears team out on the road facing a pissed-off Lions team in a bounce-back spot, facing their old coach who they probably feel like shouldn't have left them in the first place. The Lions are overall just the better football team, and I think you let J.J. McCarthy do that to you in the second half. I think Jared Goff in a dome likely to do the same. So I'm with you, Roof. I like the Lions.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you got to remember that the Vikings didn't score for the most part until the fourth quarter. They dealt all their damage in the fourth quarter in that game. That was still not enough for the Bears in that one. They played so well defensively through the first 3 quarters and really still did not have any chance to pull away in that game. And it came back to bite them in the ass. And I don't think they're going to have that same luxury this week against Detroit.
Fair enough. Both teams back-to-back division games to start off the year. A couple teams in this similar spot this week. NFL said, you know what? We starting this season off with a bang. Some very important games to start off the season. So see what happens. We'll see what happens, Chris. Man, money making weekend heading up. We got some great college football action, some great NFL action. Glad to have both of them back. What you got going on this weekend over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Yeah, I definitely excited to have both back. For me this weekend, going to have my NFL Platinum play on the board. We have done well with that Platinum play for the last little bit, and we cashed it week 1 with the Browns. So just going to try to keep it rolling going forward. This is a great time to jump on long-term. The 3-day and 7-day passes during football season for me are the best value. We go high volume, and a lot of times it makes the long-term passes better, bang for your buck than buying each of the daily packages individually. So make sure that you check that out. Pair me up with Jay or any of the other great handicappers over at Pick Dawgz and use that promo code PICK, get 15% off.
Chris, my man, appreciate you this week. Let's continue to kick the crap out of the books. Man, any final words before I let you go?
No, I appreciate you having me on, Jay. And yeah, best of luck, everybody. It's making a winning weekend.
Appreciate you, Roof. See you next week. Week 2, NFL action, Jeremy. We're here. Keeping it rolling. What we got going on this week?
Yeah, got a lot of good stuff going on. Jets and Bills, first off, this is a game that I think a lot of people are going to overlook. They're going to look at the Bills and what they did on Sunday Night Football and say, hey, they're going to come in there. It's the Jets, for crying out loud. Look how many points the Steelers scored on them, and expect them to blow them out. But I still think these short weeks and playing at Sunday night, it is a disadvantage to go on the road the next week. And also the emotional type win that you had. There are some wholesale issues with the Bills defense in the run game. I know it's Derrick Henry and he's special, but we saw 3 runs of 25 plus, including one of 50 against them. I think Breece Hall is going to have an interesting day. And I really like the way Justin Fields played last week against the Steelers. I think they keep it close. I wouldn't be shocked if they win. But I could see the Bills trying to hang on to victory at the end of this one and the Jets covering those. So I'll gladly take those points.
Man, both of these 2 teams were featured in 2 of the better games of the weekend last weekend. Of course,
Yeah.
the Bills game was the best. What a comeback in the amount of time that they had. I think most people thought they were dead.
I think they were the only 2 overs of Sunday, right? Like the lowest total game with the Steelers went way over the total. And then, of course, the Ravens and Bills, we saw 81 points there. I think those are the only 2 games that went over the total in the NFL on Monday or on Sunday, because we had one on Monday.
Yep. Man, so I'm with you. I think this Bills defense has some holes. We saw Derrick Henry absolutely light them up, And this Jets, we saw a running back, a rushing offense with a running back, a rushing quarterback, and a rushing running back light them up last week. Well, the Jets have both of those, and they looked fairly good themselves offensively against a really good defense in the Steelers. I think that Steelers defense is going to be one of the best in the NFL. And we saw when it mattered most, the Steelers defense made a play to win the game, Jalen Ramsey.
That
but
dog.
a dog. But I think a lot of people will look at this game through the lens of, man, the Bills look so good last week. They're just going to keep it rolling. They're going to air out the Jets here in this one. But, division game on the road, it's a lot of points to lay. It's a lot of points to lay, especially coming off such a huge emotional win. Like you said, short week, playing on the night game. I think I'm with you here. I like the Jets plus the points. Fair enough, man. That's the first game we're covering here in the NFL action in week 2. What are we doing for the second one?
Yeah, we're going to go to Cincinnati and Jacksonville. And this is a game that I was targeting, especially after what I saw on Sunday. If anybody watched the Browns play the Bengals, there was a lot of wind in the game, 15-mile-an-hour winds. There was some gusts up to 20, 25 miles an hour. I'm not saying that's the sole reason that Joe Burrow sucked it up. Cleveland's defense is pretty good. But I don't think their offense is very good, and they put up twice as many yards. And you could see, even with average running backs, what they were capable of doing to the Bengals defense. Jacksonville looked really good against Carolina. And again, we're not certain what's what. I think Liam Cohen is a brilliant play designer, and I think you see them come out and look a little bit better on offense as well against the Cincinnati defense. I think Cincinnati's going to have one of the worst defenses we've seen in a long time, and they didn't do anything to improve on it from last year. So I think there's some opportunities here for big plays. Brian Thomas didn't show out last week. This could be it. And on the flip side, I don't think Cincinnati's offense is going to be, having the same issues it had last week. Carolina actually moved the ball in Jacksonville, but we didn't get a chance to see them put up some points. They kept turning the ball over, penalties, all kinds of issues. I think these two teams move up and down the field, and this is the highest scoring game of the weekend.
I like this one as well. Over in Cincinnati. Like you said, Cincinnati's defense last year was historically bad. And if the Browns had half a heartbeat, they should have won that game.
Jerry Judy's talking some trash this week, saying he's not worried about the Ravens secondary, but he's the guy that dropped the 5-yard pass that could have, picked up that first down and kept everything moving as well. Man. So, there's some major concerns about this Cincinnati defense. And on the other side, everybody knows who's at quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals and what offensive weapons they have. Joe and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and company. I saw a lot of fantasy owners kind of mad at Jamar Chase for the week he had last week. I wouldn't go under Jamar Chase this week. I think I think he comes out and shows he's as good as advertised. And I'm with you. I like some points here in this one. Yeah. The other thing too is with talking about Jacksonville on the flip side and Liam Cohen and what they brought in that offense. They've got 3 running backs they can use. It looks like they're all in a healthy, competitive environment there, and you're seeing them have some success there. But there's real weapons in the passing game now. And Travis Hunter, they were peppering him underneath. Brian Thomas was bottled up, but I think he has a big week this week.
There we go from Jeremy. Breaking down 2 NFL games for us here this week. Know where to find your favorite place over at Pick Dawgz Premium. We'll be looking at this weekend on the premium side.
Yeah, I always do a 5-pack. I put together my 5 favorite football plays. I have my best bet, which I've called it my, looking at my concrete best bet. I've never had, or I should say I've had one losing season in doing this over 20 years with my best bet. We lost last week with Atlanta. That was a frustrating 50-50 game when it came down to the end. But, this week is a doozy because I think we got a really good spot here that most people are going to overlook. And I love this card. I've already talked about this. When it comes down to it, you look at overreaction week 2, and I think that's exactly where we're at. And you take advantage of some of those spots on the board. I think I found a few. So, the 5-pack, there's a bunch of singles up there as well. So you can check them out over there.
Appreciate you, Jeremy, man. We'll see you on this show throughout the year, on the College Football Show, and, of course, on the Lowdown every day here on the YouTube channel.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, and here on the NFL show, I'll be covering a game from Monday Night Football. We got a doubleheader on Monday night this week. We got the Chargers out on the road facing the Las Vegas Raiders. You want to be a Raider? Shout out Al Davis, man. Look, I think the Chargers coming to this game overrated, overvalued. I don't see them as 3 and a hook point road favorites in this one. I think coming off a huge win over the Kansas City Chiefs has them slightly overrated, slightly overvalued. Division game, laying this many points on the road, I'm going the other way. I'm higher on this Raiders team than I think the general public. I had them last week. They got a nice dub for me in Foxborough. Return home here. We get Geno Smith in a dome. We already know the difference between Geno in a dome and Geno outside. Geno in a dome might be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And that's why the Raiders were so high on getting him to come play in their dome-style stadium. I just think this is a great spot to buy low on a Raiders team that the general masses hasn't quite caught up to yet, while I think a lot of people watched the Chargers on YouTube last week, for free, and watched them beat the Chiefs, the team that's been the dynasty over the past couple years. So a team that only lost 1 game in the regular season last year. I think that just has the Chargers overrated and overvalued coming into this game. Do I think the Chargers are the more talented team overall? Slightly. But do I think it's deserving of laying 3.5? No, I don't. Personally, if I was the lines maker here in this one, my line might be Chargers -1.5, -1 on the road. You feel me? So I think there's a good amount of value here on Las Vegas at home opener. I'm going to grab the points with the Las Vegas Raiders here in our last and final game of the week. And that's going to conclude Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition. I'm your host, Jay Briggs, and I appreciate you more than you know. All we ask is that you smash that like button for us. You subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as I always say, man, if you're rocking with us, rock with us. We're active on Instagram and Twitter all day long. There's a link for both in the description below. I'm active on Instagram and Twitter all day long as well. There will be a link for both in the description. Our favorite plays, the plays we love the most, those are over at Pick Dawgz Premium. Link for that in the description below, man. We got multi-capper packages. We got single capper packages. Think about hopping on something long-term with a really good weekend of action coming up. Week 2 NFL, week 3 college football, WNBA playoffs, Major League Baseball season winding on down, playoffs right on the horizon. Really good weekend, man, to beat up the books. And we're here to help you guys do exactly that, man. Again, smash that like button for us. Follow us on socials. Favorite plays are over at Pick Dawgz Premium. Appreciate y'all more than y'all know, man. It's been your host, Jay Briggs. I'll see y'all next week. Let's continue to kick the crap out of the books, man. Aloha. Oh, we help.